I want to tell you how I manifested my financial glow up so you can do the same and just copy what I did, which is very, very simple. So, to make this make sense, I have to go back, way, way back. So, I graduated with a physician assistant degree with a specialty in general surgery at the height of COVID. So, we have a global pandemic as I'm getting ready to walk across this stage, and then a global pandemic hits. And everything is shut down in the country. Everything is kind of falling apart. And I have graduated with this shiny new degree, and nobody wants to touch my degree and nobody wants to hire me right now because we're in a global pandemic. And at that present point in time, I was having a complete and total identity crisis, genuine, sincere identity crisis. I was freaking out. I was literally having a conversation with God in the car one day, and I was sobbing, and I was like, is this your idea of a cruel joke? What is wrong with you? How can my life look like this? I literally just devoted, the medical route is not a short route. This is 8 to 10 years of your life to just get your first paycheck. And I just graduated with this shiny new degree, and you're telling me I cannot work? They only wanted the senior physicians on the line. I'm like, this is an immunocompromised disease. Why not just sacrifice my life at this point in time? Take the young bucks. I don't think you need to put in the older people, respectfully, at this point in time. But obviously none of us are trained to handle COVID at that freaking point in time. So I couldn't get my assumptions behind it in full transparency and in full honesty. It was a global pandemic. There was no part of me that was able to fully mentally get behind that situation to manifest a different outcome. And I take 110% ownership of that. It just felt like it was bigger than me because it actually was. And so I'm having conversations with God in the car, and I'm like, is this your idea of a cruel joke? What is wrong with you? And to go even further back, I started from law of attraction to law of assumption. I found law of assumption, and then I had this whole meltdown, and it wasn't just career that was falling apart. Every area of my life was falling apart. Friendships were falling apart. Family members were falling apart. Relationships were falling apart. Career was falling apart. I was at my absolute rock bottom low. And that's when I had the conversation with God. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. You're telling me that all I have to do is go all in on these new belief systems and to basically rewire these beliefs into my brain and let go of my limiting beliefs. Bet money, Jack. Bet money, God. I'm going to show you, because if I go all in and my whole life isn't changed, you're going to have to answer to me, basically. I don't know what came over me in that moment, but when you're in these situations, you do weird things. And I literally remember being like, it's over for you, because I'm going to go all in, because once I put my mind to something, it is over for you. And I'm going to be and I'm going to prove to you, essentially, God, that this is all fake, because it can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. How is me changing my beliefs going to fix the shit that is my life right now? And so I went all in. I literally went all in. And in the first 30 days, I manifested $2,000. And honestly, I felt like I had hit the lottery. I literally felt like I had hit the lottery. I was like, what is this? And I was like, hang on. It could have been a fluke. So we keep going. Second month comes in. I manifest $7,000. That was lottery money to me. That was lottery money to me, baby. That was lottery money. I could have danced naked through the street for $7,000 in a 30-day time frame, which was technically the second month. So it was whatever it is, And so then that happened. And then the third month comes around, and I hope you're hanging on to your panties for this one, because it was $100,000, my guy. I could have actually ran naked through the street at that point in time. I was like, this is a joke. And I remember literally dropping to my knees and sobbing, bringing my family members to the computer. It'll be a moment that is forever seared into my brain, and I have so much gratitude for it. Whenever I doubt manifestation, I think about that moment, and I'm like, This was the greatest proof of concept I've ever seen in my entire life, and I did not do anything fancy. I just identified my limiting beliefs, and almost like, I want you to imagine that game at a fair where you like toss the ball and you knock things down. I just knocked down limiting belief by limiting belief by limiting belief. And I just trusted the process. And I actually like had a little bit of my chip on my shoulder thinking I was gonna prove God wrong. What is wrong with me? And I just did it. I did it. And I remember bringing my family over to the computer and feeling like the weight of the world had just fallen off my shoulders, because I feel like I just finally got it. And I finally really understood what it meant. And it felt uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And maybe here's your sign that it's gonna feel uncomfortable. It's gonna feel awkward. It's gonna feel superficial. It's gonna feel forced maybe. It's gonna feel rehearsed. It's gonna feel, you know what it's gonna feel like? You know how you have that like comfy sweater? And it's like 150 years old. It's like got pit stains in it that are permanent. It's got holes in it. It barely fits you correctly. But I want you to think of that old comfy sweater as your limiting beliefs, because that's literally what it is. And then I want you to think of a new sweater as your new identity and your new beliefs. And I want you to imagine that your old sweater got burned in a fire somehow. And although you were incredibly sad about that, you just have to learn to get comfortable with the new sweater, because you've burned the other thing to the ground. It's the concept of burning the ships and just going all in, and I have to make it work. Like, there is no option for failure. There's only detours and reroutes and learning things and acquiring new information to get further. And after I manifested the $100,000 after that 90-day period of time, I literally remember getting back into my car and having another conversation with God. And I remember being like, I'm so sorry I doubted you. I'm so sorry I doubted you. I'm never gonna doubt you ever again. Because the universe really did pull through, and I wasn't the exception to the law. And here's your sign that you aren't either. Sometimes the greatest detours that our life could really offer are the best things setting us up for the best success. If I would have tried to force my way into medical when there was a bigger, huger English blessing for me, there was a reason that was not working out. And I take full 110% accountability that I couldn't mentally get there with a global pandemic. I just couldn't. And it's okay to have limitations. You're a freaking human being. You're not a robot. As much as you'd like to be, you can't exempt the human experience. There are going to be days where you just make bad stories about things. There are going to be days you make things mean something about you. There are going to be days where you make things mean that what you want isn't available, and it's all okay, because it's all just part of being a human. But it's your personal obligation to yourself to fix that in your brain and connect back into your power, because you are the source of it all. And all the power resides within you every single time. The only thing that happened with those circumstances is it allowed you to subscribe to stories that disconnected you from your power, that made you believe your power was outside of you, but your power is within you, and this is your reminder for that today. Go all in on exactly what the hell you want, because the worst thing that's gonna happen is everything you frickin' wanted, baby. And you owe it to yourself to live an incredible, full, rich life, baby. Rich in love, rich in abundance, rich in friendships, rich in all the best things in the entire world. And going all in on myself was the best decision I ever made for myself. In that moment, I never wanted to control a single outcome for the rest of my life, because I realized that my tiny human pea brain could not comprehend the freaking blessings that God had for me. And because I was a stubborn ass, and because I wanted to control the outcome, is why my life was miserable for years longer than it ever should have been. Because although I love this law, I don't like the type of control that the law promotes. And if you can be open to 10 times better, 100 times better, I promise you, so much good will come into your life you don't know what to do with it. And if you're not receiving your results in 90 days or less, and you're starting at a rock bottom zero like how I was, and you're doing 1% better daily, it means that you're still subscribed to limiting beliefs that are keeping you stuck. And as soon as you let go of that, you're a few limiting belief shifts away from a whole different reality. And if you want to take advantage of our birthday special this month, we can help you expedite that shit faster because I want to see you win.